wrestling fans, and we are the degenerates that want to talk about it. This is Kicking Out at 2. I'm Michael. With me, as always, is Tori. Hey, Tori.
Good evening.
Let's see. I think we're going to start with some news today.
All right.
We'll end with the not so fun stuff. So we mentioned in our last news update that WWE was interested in a New Japan wrestler, and it wasn't who we thought it was, right?
Right.
Well, now some reports have come out that they are also interested in the one that I thought it was.
Jay
They
White.
are interested in Tama Tonga, which I am not
Ooh.
surprised. That man is a star.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
and him jumping in, whether it's part of the bloodline, not part of the bloodline, wouldn't freaking matter. Um, he would be a force coming in there.
Yeah.
Very interesting that they are interested in him, and he's the one that won the uh, never openweight title from Carl Anderson
Yeah.
this past weekend.
Right.
So,
I mean, if
interesting.
they let Carl do it, they might as well let him do it.
Yeah, why not? Um, anything seems to be game now. Like that's the whole thing, at
It's
least
so
for the moment.
heavy.
Um, we'll still hold off on that. But no, I wouldn't have a problem with Tamatanga showing up like that.
No, I wouldn't either.
That would definitely be a good shot in the arm, especially with what we're seeing right now with the bloodline. If he was injected into that, because they're starting to sow those seeds now, and if they had another member of
So,
the Anoa'i family come in and
yeah.
continue to just kind of,
How is he related?
so he is related to Haku,
Okay. He's
and
former
that's about
Bullet
as
Club.
far as I know. I
He's the
think,
nephew and adopted son. So, wow, Haku adopted him.
yeah.
Cousin adopted brother Tangaloa. Okay.
Which honestly, that's another one. If they get Tama and Loa in it and bring them in as
Bubba
Gorillas of
Twale
Destiny,
is his cousin too.
mhm.
Yeah,
But like I said, I
Hikaleo
mean,
is his biological brother.
yeah, I mean, if they brought him in, bring him in with Hikaleo, bring him in there, like if you want to bring Loa in it too, like that's a whole section of the Samoan dynasty that could take over easily.
Yeah, his funny thing is
Um,
that it doesn't specifically mention all of that on Wikipedia. It says they're like adopted by Haku,
mhm,
maternal aunt and her husband. So their mom's sister adopted them from Tonga in 91.
mhm.
Interesting.
So, well, one of the things that some people seem concerned with that type of news, though, is he's done a lot of work in Japan, and as we've mentioned, kind of in the last couple of shows, Japan's a whole different deal.
It
However,
is.
though, he has wrestled in Impact. He did wrestle in ROH.
Okay.
He did wrestle for New Japan Strong here in the United States. So
Okay.
he's got that ability, I think,
Yeah.
where he can play to the crowd too, because it's a whole different beast.
It's
Like
so I
you
was
don't have to
watching that
play to the crowd as
show,
much out there.
right, and it's so different because they're not loud. They're you don't get a pop for every little thing. You don't get the chance. It's
Hmm.
it's different.
It absolutely is. So we'll see where that goes. He's doing great in Japan, so I mean, it's not like he
Yeah.
has to come here, but
Well, and once they took
definitely.
him out of the Bullet Club, that
Hmm.
was, and so if they brought him in, you could do that too.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely you could put him with Finn or put him with AJ and redo the whole
Yeah.
club thing. Um, so a little bit of fun news. There is a WWE legend, a Hall of Famer, who wants to wrestle in the Royal Rumble or in Saudi Arabia, excuse me. Um, Kurt Angle has said, good knees or bad knees, he doesn't care. He would be glad to wrestle in Saudi Arabia for $3 million. So, He
No.
has not
No.
wrestled. He has not wrestled since losing to Baron Corbin in WrestleMania 35, but he has opened up and said that he's willing to. Transcripts from Fightful Select here. Kurt said, "Well, you know what? I'm not a WWE lifer. Sean is. His loyalty is with WWE, and they paid him very well for it." They asked if he would uh, take time off for another match. He responded, "What are you talking about? I would do it in a second. Good knees or bad knees, I would do it in a second." So interesting. Um, I mean, Kurt's one of those, so it's a lot like Sean. Like I don't think I'd want to see Sean come back anymore. I think now that we've seen where he is physically, if you can't be that same guy
He
again,
I feel like Sean is smart enough to know he's done.
right?
I just and I've been very open about my love of Shawn Michaels, but be done. Don't
Yeah.
be Goldberg. Don't be Taker. Don't be Flair. You know,
Now, now on the flip side, I'm a big proponent of Royal Rumble spots. Like if you
yes,
want to come in like for 30 seconds for a minute, I think he could be old Kurt Angle, but then he's probably done.
yes.
So go out
Well,
there, throw some people
what happens?
around.
What happens when he tries to do something and his knee gives out or something like?
Yeah.
They need to stop. I hope that they stop doing this. Like you said, a Royal Rumble spot is one thing because you're in the ring, you're with a bunch of people, you have to get through about a minute and a half, maybe a minute of looking strong,
Mhm.
and then it's throw me around a little, try to throw me out.
Yeah. Or even in spurts, if you want to take a Hall of Famer, like let's say a Shawn Michaels, you put him in a Royal Rumble, you can keep Shawn in for 10, 15 minutes because
Right,
there's moments where it's like, okay, you go get beat in the corner for a couple of minutes.
right.
You don't have to be the guy right now.
Or if you want to do it and be Sean, get in the ring and roll right back out.
Hmm. Or pull from the greatest professional sports entertainer of all time, Road Dogg, and just huddle in the corner,
Yes,
grabbing the chair.
clutching the bottom turnbuckle.
Great, great move. I don't know why, but nobody else has ever thought about that. Um, so on to the not so fun news. Um, however, this does give me a little bit of hope. There was a WWE employee meeting
Saw that.
that was brought up. Got some transcripts from it from Fightful Select here. Um, so the first thing is the talent was not involved,
I saw that.
so it was just higher ups. There were no questions taken. So this apparently was going to be like a here's how this is going to go. We need you to understand how this is going to go. Now, with that thought in mind, it was stressed that the day to day is not changing across the board. Um, they spoke about Vince McMahon being the controlling shareholder and the possibility of a sale, as well as media rights deal. Stephanie McMahon, Nick Khan, and Frank Riddick led the meeting. It was noted that the sale could be a huge positive and that they would be looking at potential sale offers before negotiating the right fees. Vince
Who
McMahon
is
will get the
Frank
final say of
whoever?
those. Frank Riddick, want to say, is one of the former.
So, yeah, I saw that Vince is gonna be involved in just the rights thing, basically, and possibly the sale.
He is the chief financial officer,
Oh, okay. So, Nick and Steph are CEOs, he's the COO or
CFO.
CFO. Okay.
Not to be confused with CFO dollar sign. He's not making any theme music for us. Uh, I know. Get out. Um, yeah. So
If that's
um,
all he's doing, whatever. I don't think him being back is the problem is they because of him, they fired 3 people from the board, so him and 2 people would get their spots back. and then two other people resigned, and
Yeah,
one of them had led the investigation into him. That's a problem.
that is. But we'll get into a little bit more that I think kind of keeps Vince in check, a little bit.
Okay.
Maybe not in his opinion, but
Right.
um, it was noted that potential buyers could be more interested in WWE as a property than just a product. Michelle Wilson, excuse me, and George Barrios rehiring, which they were the people that Nick Khan replaced. Um,
Yeah.
they mainly got let go because they were putting up a big stink about losing the WWE network because they felt like there was more cred, more money in having
Because
your
there
own streaming
was.
network. Yeah. Well,
100% there was.
I don't know. I mean, it depends. Like, I don't know how much Peacock's paying them. Maybe the maintenance fee for their own streaming service versus what Peacock's paying them to have it on their service.
Fair point.
Maybe it is better money that way. I don't know. But so that's why they were let go initially, is because they were wanting to go still that direction. Vince was saying, "No, I want to sell off the rights for it." So um, interesting that they're the ones he brought back.
Yeah.
Um,
Which makes me wonder if the Peacock deal is not like a sale of access. It's a
mhm,
temporary thing that was part of the USA Network deal.
right. And to your point of who resigned, so Manjit Singh resigned from the board. He was the one that was heading up the investigation into Vince McMahon in the first place. Jeffrey Speed was also a part of the investigation. He was removed from the board. Joe Ellen Dillon was removed from the board, but joined following the investigation. So she joined after the investigation started anyway. Vince McMahon was not at the SmackDown tapings, so
That's a plus.
that's a plus. It seems like he may be staying away at least for the moment. It was reiterated to Fightful in this news that they were given in official capacity. That creative is not supposed to change as of now. He is supposed to stay out of everything of that. Now, here's where I kind of have issues. So, it was reported that the way Vince got back in is, I mean, as we all should already know, he is the majority stockholder. He's like
Shareholder.
80% of the company.
Yeah.
And so he basically said, like, look, any media deals you make, I have to sign off on anyway. I have to agree with.
He
Unless I am
strong
on the
armed it.
board, I'm going to disagree with everything. So he strong armed his way back onto the board. Who's to say that two months down the line, he doesn't strong arm him for more stuff?
Yeah.
But I mean, as it stands for now, we can hope that all this is going to go in. The one card that they do have, the board members wrote a letter to Vince,
Right.
and Vince
And told
and
him
Vince's
that him
team.
coming back wasn't a good thing.
Well, that was part of it, but the other part of it was that because of current because of current legal things that are aware,
Yeah.
and because of a group of things that are not publicly aware that they have been made aware of, which means that there's more stuff in the
Yep.
pocket that we haven't even
Mm-hmm.
heard about yet. Um, they said that they don't think it's a good idea, but they also think that he should not touch anything outside of just media deals.
Because he
Like if that's what
shouldn't.
he's going to do, yeah.
If
And,
he's
and
just
I
there
said
on the
that before.
business, if he's just there for the media rights and that's or the sale or both, to me it creates less of a problem.
I don't disagree.
Less of a problem. I'm not saying it's not a problem, it's less of a problem.
Yeah, I said before, like when all this first started, when he first was, let go and he might come back and all that stuff. I said then, like if he was just the business head, if he came just for making deals and doing that, like okay, because he has run this business financially through hard times. Like can't say
I
nothing bad
know.
about that. There
I
was
and I understand that and I agree. I just those allegations aren't going away, and
Right.
obviously there's more that we don't know about yet, and those aren't going to go away. What happens if that comes out right before the sale or right before media rights, and those companies go, "Hold up, we don't want any part of this."
Yeah. I would hope that at that point they would have, they being the board, they being Nick Khan and Stephanie, they would have some leeway at that point to go, look, like I get what you're trying to do, but it's not good for anybody.
His legacy will always be there, good, bad, or otherwise. It's there. Do I like Vince? No. Do I agree with a lot of his choices? No. I can't deny what he's done for the company and for the business.
Yeah.
I can't.
Well, and here's the thing. So we'll leave that because there's a little bit of non-Vince this conversation that I want to talk about before we finish up. But I want to state this. This is my take on this. That by no means does this. Do you have to support this or anybody else has to support this? This is my take on this whole thing.
These views do not reflect the opinion of kicking out. Actually, it does. No,
Yeah.
it does. It's good.
Here's the thing. If he ends up taking back into creative, if he ends up getting back into the swing of it, is it going to affect the product? Absolutely. It absolutely is.
1000%.
I am not concerned if the TV gets bad. I am concerned if someone else gets forced into a situation that they don't need to be in. I am
Such as.
concerned as the sexual
Oh,
allegations, the
gotcha.
things that he's done
Gotcha.
that started this whole thing. Like I don't want someone back in that position.
I agree.
If he gets there and he's all above board and he doesn't do those things and he just runs the creative into the ground, okay. Like I don't like it and it sucks for us as fans, but I don't want people fired because he feels like he can fire them. I don't want people in a position where they feel like they have to do something to keep their job and then sign an NDA because they want to keep their job. I, that's my concern.
Eh,
And so it
I feel like
sucks.
you make a fair point. I'm real curious. Those people that have considered coming, like, I'm 99% sure FTR is coming back.
Hmm.
Do you think they're reconsidering that now, just on the possibility this could happen?
I think they could.
I
And
would
here's the
be.
thing, like at the end of the day, if he's on that side of it, he's also the one that kind of holds the purse strings, to be honest. And so do we get in a situation that these people that we've rehired back and re-energize the product with, we
Get
can't
cutting
afford
edge.
them anymore.
Yeah. And
So,
that's been my biggest concern is and for the most part, excuse me, for the most part, everybody he's rehired has done something impactful.
mhm,
Top dollars just happen to be with the top rope. But the end, like we were talking about before, they're not getting over. They're one of the few.
mhm,
Scarlett and Karrion Cross are over. Whether they have a direction for them or not, the fans react.
right.
There's a
Eh,
definite reaction there.
yeah, I mean, and not to say it's all roses. I was just thinking the other day, like, where's Nikki? Like, Nikki kind of fell off.
They're doing so they see that's just it though. Monday there was she posted a bunch of stuff to Twitter
Right,
and the WWE site posted a bunch. So are we making that a thing now? Because Zack Ryder got fired, got screwed for getting over online.
right. And that's the
Now,
thing. Like, so I mean, there's still things that we don't know about, and maybe it's better for some people, not better for some. But there is no denying that the product is better. There
100%.
is no denying that we are getting more entertainment than we did before.
It's like we were talking about for SmackDown a week ago. I was excited about that show.
Hmm.
And Charlotte showing up, as much as I've bagged on Charlotte, that coattail riding bitch,
Woo!
her return was huge. The
Was
crowd
huge.
responded to her well. And this week was the first time she did one woo the whole time she was out there.
Hmm. and then immediately pivoted.
Yes, and that's how it should be. She
Yeah.
doesn't need that.
But the
So
fans' reaction to her is still massive. Like they love her at the moment, and
at the
Lord
moment,
knows she's good enough that she can turn that on a dime too. It take
100%,
her 2 seconds to get booed,
100%.
but
But
it's
I
it
just,
is. Go ahead.
I mean, look at everybody that's come back: Dakota and Io, Carrion and Scarlett, Braun, Charlotte. Who else did they bring back?
Bronson Reed.
Right. We haven't seen much out of him yet, but I'm sure that's just because of time of year. His debut was when it was, and we haven't seen the Miz either. So,
Yeah. Um,
but yeah, I just overall the rehires have been great.
yeah. Some sort of storyline driven thing to bring them back in. They made an impact. Um, you have Karrion Cross who came back, and within a week we
Oh,
forgot about the stupid gladiator helmet, the knockoff Farouk thing he was doing, and
Bray, Gallagher, and Anderson. I forgot about all three of them.
yeah, um,
So, Hit Row, I pulled a list up: Dakota, Dexter,
mhm,
Carrion Scarlett, Johnny came back. I mean, his
yeah,
wasn't a release, but he still came back. And I
yeah,
guarantee he came back because,
because of Trip,
yep, because he said from the time he has talked repeatedly about his amount and level of respect of Hunter.
yeah,
Um, Candace was the other one.
yep,
Anderson Gallows, Emma, which she hasn't done a lot, but she's there, and they've got her in that storyline now with Madcap and Scarlett and Karrion Cross.
yeah,
So in general, they've all been productive rehires.
yeah,
Emma's works because of what they're doing right now. You can obviously do more with her. I don't think a return to NXT would be bad for both of them.
hmm
Send Madcap back, give him his name back, let them be a couple. Let them be a couple and be on TV.
yep.
And the funny thing
Of
is,
the thing with Madcap, I find interesting is of all the people that you could have taken away the last name and still made him badass,
you took away his
why'd you
first
take
name.
away the first name? Because Riddick, if you just called him Riddick,
Yeah,
dude,
yeah. I think it's one of those. Send them back to NXT. It's not going to hurt either one of them. It's not going to because it's not going to hurt either one of them because Dolph, Apollo, the New Day, all the people that have gone back and had matches.
hmm
You put Madcap, Riddick Moss, and Emma back there 6 months. You could put the title on Riddick. You could
hmm
100% put that title on Riddick Moss.
yeah.
And I buy it. I would buy it there. I don't buy him
Not to mention
carrying
a
the
Riddick
title
versus Braun match would be good.
right. So I definitely think that it would be a good thing for them. You could easily, and what I would do is when you bring Braun Breaker up and you bring Carmelo up, and I think putting, like you mentioned earlier before we started recording, putting Carmelo with Hit Row, they're missing that person. It was
Yeah.
Swerve. Swerve is an amazing athlete, and he knows how to get over heel, face, it doesn't matter. He still gets a pop because of who he is and the work that he's put in. So putting him with Hit Row, I think would give him that. Putting Carmelo with Hit Row would do wonders for them. But bring Carmelo up, bring Braun Breaker up.
hmm
You're gonna have to change his first name because we have a
With
Braun
Braun.
already. So and I
Braun.
yeah. But you could very easily send, and Emma could carry that women's division again. She's a hell. Tennille Dashwood is a hell of a wrestler.
She is. She's a hell of a talent. That's why I was really
Yes,
glad that she came back with the gimmick she did, and they didn't try to
not
bring
the
back dumb Emma.
dancing. Granted, I thought it was amazing and I loved it,
hmm
but it's hard to buy it and
Well,
believe that she's a threat.
it's hard to go back to that now that what we've seen. It's like if Maria Kanellis came back again. I couldn't see her as ditzy Maria
No.
because Maria Kanellis has been a badass mom, wife, wrestler for the last 3-4 years.
And
So,
she's made a point of the fact that she is women's wrestling. Like, that's
mhm,
her thing.
yep,
She's in charge of every, whatever women's division she's in charge.
yep.
I want to see them mix her up with the AEW women.
I'd like to. They need to do something with them. But so the final thing is they already have hired a group to help advise on potential sales. They've reached out to JP Morgan, and so they're going to advise on a potential sale.
JP
Um,
Morgan Chase is one of the biggest companies in the world. I don't blame them.
yeah, I mean it's a smart thing if you're going to sell it. Um, so the reported list right now of who are potential buyers are Comcast, Fox, Disney, Warner Brothers Discovery, Netflix, Amazon, Endeavor, and Liberty Media. So,
Well, that makes a tweet I saw a little bit ago make a shitload more sense. Maxwell Jacob Friedman
mm,
said 3 hours ago, I feel like I don't talk enough about how much I love Comcast, NBC Universal, Fox, Disney, Warner Brothers Discovery, Netflix, Amazon, Endeavor Group Holdings, and Liberty Media. I
yep,
was like, what the fuck is he talking about? Now I
that's what he's talking
understand.
about. There you go. The pieces of the puzzle come
I
together.
I love him. But yeah, I was like, what in the hell is he fucking talking about? And then you said that list and it clicked in and I'm like, oh, he's such a good troll.
Yeah. So right now the reports Alex Sherman of CNBC reports that WWE hired JP Morgan to advise on the potential sale. The report states a deal would likely happen before mid 2023, around the time that the TV rights negotiations for WWE would take place. So with those rights coming up here at the mid of this year, they're looking to sell off before that happens.
Hang on, let me look at that list again,
Mhm.
just so I have it in front of me. Netflix, Amazon puts it online because you don't have an actual TV deal specifically.
Mhm.
Obviously, NBC Universal would be able to do a lot with that
Yep.
because what else? NBC Universal is a huge umbrella.
So NBC Universal, like if nothing else, they are the Peacock network. So
Right. NBC Sports, Peacock, NBC, Universal Television, Golf Network, USA, Sci-Fi. Oh, we could end up with some on Sci-Fi again.
mhm.
Um, Fandango, E, Focus, Universal Pictures, Focus. Hmm, that could do a lot for movies too.
Mhm. I find it interesting that Fox and Disney are both in the list. That's a little interesting to me now that
Yeah.
Disney owns that. But
No, this is Fox, not Fox
oh, okay,
21st Century.
okay,
Disney
okay,
just owns the movie. They just own the movie part.
okay. Um, Regardless though, so like I think about like Disney and like there's so many options because Disney owns ABC if I remember correctly. So
Let me
there's
see.
your local network channel. They could throw SmackDown on ABC and nobody would bat an eye.
So they own 21st Century Fox, which is movies,
Hmm.
Capital Cities ABC, Pixar, Lucasfilm, Marvel, Fox Family Worldwide. Wow, that's owned by Disney. That's funny. Um, yeah, so ABC, which ABC is ESPN, the History Channel, A&E, Lifetime. They own Hulu, I believe.
Which right there, I mean,
I think they
whether
own
you do
Hulu.
if they do, I mean, either whether they put it on the Disney app or if they put it on Hulu, where it is right now already. I mean, either way, there's your streaming.
Yeah,
You throw a WWE tab on one of those things and call it a day.
yeah.
It is interesting to note. So there was a quote from Vince. My return will allow WWE as well as any transaction counterparties to engage in these processes, knowing that they will have the support of the controlling shareholder.
Fair point.
Yeah. So, and I mean, as much as I don't like the way he did it, it does make sense. If
It
with
does.
with him being the 80% shareholder, like that makes sense that he's in the room. Like he's part of the negotiation. It makes sense. Um, I'm not gonna fight that. Um, it's also interesting to note that WWE stock shot up to the highest number it's been since 2019 on Friday, amid reports of a potential sale. So as soon as they heard, hey, he's coming in to do a potential sale, people are buying the hell out of that stock.
Well, yeah, because it's gonna go. The theory is it'll go up because of a sale.
Yeah. So we'll see where all that goes, but that's kind of where we are now. Is it looks like we're gonna potentially have a sale, and that's scary in itself to me on the entertainment side of it, on
It
the
is.
fan side of
It
it,
is.
because
I they listed all of those people, and I wonder if there's any discussion with Steph Hunter if they have a group. Um, if they had a group together to say, "Hey, we want to buy,"
hmm
because if you give Hunter and Steph controlling interest and Vince is completely out of the picture, I think the stock goes up even more.
yeah, that was actually something like I was thinking on the way home today from the store, and if they essentially replayed exactly what happened with Vince, because Vince bought it from his dad in very the similar manner of, look, I want to run this, I want to run it my way,
Right.
and in order to do that, I need to own it. I want to buy it from you. So if they came out with Nick, for instance, Nick Khan, and said, "Hey, Nick, like I think we can do this without them. Let's buy it and see what happens."
I agree.
It's also interesting to note. I don't remember who reported it, but I saw it on one of the tweets this morning. There is also potential talk of them going back private and stop being a
Really?
public company. Um, I
Here's
think I think that's also a very interesting thought of if they went private again.
if they went private and bought Vince out, because they basically have to buy back every stock.
Right.
I think it'd be a good thing. I think it'd be a good thing because it takes some of the we have to do this because we're a family friendly company and
hmm
we're required to do this because of our stockholders and blah. You could give the product a little bit of an edge again. Like AEW gives their product an edge and it makes it more interesting for people.
Right. Well, and between having more of an edge and also the ability that they can make deals with other companies that are on that end of the spectrum. They were trying to do something with GCW not too long ago, and like it's hard to do something like that when you're a public company. If they were private, though, if they could make a deal to get the GCW library and throw it on the whatever network that they're using, dude, that would be insane to be able to watch
Yeah.
that kind of hardcore stuff.
So I was looking into Liberty Media.
hmm
They own the Braves.
Ooh, that
I
means
was
it ties
unaware
them
of
with
it.
TBS, doesn't it?
I don't know. They own Formula One Group, which is I don't know if it's just Formula One, if it's the TV channel. I don't know. They own Sirius XM. So this isn't a small, but this is a media company,
hmm
and I'm pretty sure they have a bunch of like local networks.
hmm
So
Well, the serious thing gives me a nice feeling because like of all the podcasts.
Yeah.
Because talk radio is a big thing on Sirius. Throw all of their podcasts on there and just make a whole
Yep.
WWE channel.
Yep.
That'd be
Or
insane.
just do call it a wrestling related, however, sports entertainment related, whatever you want to call it,
Yeah.
because you've already got a ton of them.
Well, and
But
none of them are tied to them yet. But if they could say, okay, uh, uh, Kevin Nash, um, Road Dogs podcast, Ric Flair's, like all of them, and say, hey, we'll put you on here, get you a bump up in how much you're getting paid for this. Give us 10% of it. Go about your day. We'll make a whole channel out of it.
advertising would go crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Be easy. It'd be an easy sell.
Absolutely be an easy sell.
So, well, it'll be interesting. I don't. As long as he stays away from TV, okay.
I agree. I think that's the main concern for anybody and everybody involved is just keep him out of creative, keep him off our TV. I don't want to see him show up on a Rumble and do another horrible stunner. I don't want to
Yeah.
see him come out there and do a Vince dance and say, forever together again. I don't care. Stop it. Stop being the character. Just be the guy behind the scenes. Be the guy
Yeah.
that's doing the money stuff and leave my TV
We don't
alone.
need him. We don't need him
Yeah.
out there.
Well, we're going to go ahead and wrap that up. So thank you for spending your time with us. If you're enjoying our podcast, please support us, share this episode, share this channel with everybody. Follow and hit us up on all our socials below. If you are wanting to catch up with us, you can get our entire catalog right here on youtube.com at Kicking Out at 2. Until next time, I'm Michael. This is Tori, and we'll see you on the next one.